Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Perchy here from the Perchy TV, and I am being kindly joined by the man from Tottenham on tour, Mr. Daniel Levy-Out, Brian Daigle. How are you doing, sir? Welcome along. Hope you're well.
I'm doing good, my man. I'm doing good. How are you?
Mate, I'm good. It's a new week. We start again. And yeah, the road to 1K is genuinely on. We are very close. This weekend has been absolutely manic. So massive thank you guys that have watched it over the weekend. We did the two streams one on Saturday, one on Sunday. The daily streams until monetization carries on. We keep going. So before we start, let's just have a little check up who's in the chat. Big up, Eltel. Hope you are good, mate. Hope you're doing well, mate. If you want to come on, you know what to do. You're always welcome on, mate. Ben Kaufman, the man, the myth, the legend is here, monitoring you all in the chat. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're doing well. And you're welcome on, of course, as well. Big up, Danny Glover. Good day, everyone. Yes, good day to everybody. Mia, always here. Absolute pleasure. Hope you're well. The sheriff is in town. Big up, Mr. Cousins. Big up Rooty too, and everyone in the chat. Looking forward to this. Let's talk about it as usual. Of course, it's all about it. Big up Pat Moore, my mate from back home. Hope you're doing well. And big up Stewie. And Stewie's really done. This is great. This is a great transition because this is what I want to talk about first. What are your thoughts on Chelsea players all going to Saudi Arabia? All seems like a sneaky way to avoid FFP. I wanted to talk about this because yet another two names have been added to the list of mountains of Chelsea players that look like they're heading to go and apply their trade in Saudi Arabia, barring N'Golo Kante, Hakim Ziyech, two more, the Senegalese pairing of Kalidou Koulibaly and Edouard Mendy are now on their way. What are your thoughts, mate? Because it looks now like a load of their players are on their way on the plane to Saudi Arabia.
So, what can I say? Do you know what? I put a tweet out yesterday saying when we heard about Neves that the Saudi Arabian League is now starting to look like the Chinese League did a few years ago.
The thing is, I think it's actually bigger than that now.
Well, this is what
they're not getting kind of what I would say. This is disrespectful, but you know that sort of they're not getting the top trade. They're getting the likes of Ronaldo, Benzema, Kante over the line. These are players, yes, on the sort of end of the spectrum of their careers, but absolutely massive. Whereas in China, they were getting the likes of Oscar, Hulk, and all that lot, which I wouldn't put in that echelon. But this is like on steroids. It felt
well, of course, they got Benzema as well, and you're looking at it. What better way to entice other players to come?
Yeah,
and signing those elite players to say they're there. It's like back in the day when you had George Best and Pele playing in the MLS. Back in the day when they're trying to. You got to get the big stars in to start attracting the other people. Listen, we all know it's all about the payday. I'm a little bit surprised. Big up, Mark. I'm a bit surprised that Neves has gone. Big up, Mia. I'm a bit surprised that someone of Amrutu, big up. I'm surprised that someone like Neves has gone, who would have been wanted by many other clubs. I believe Barcelona were touting him, and it's now like, okay, this is a big payday, but I wasn't proper sure of this link with Chelsea until yesterday when it started spreading that there's a connection. And
they have to. But you know what? They're part of the
there's a direct connection, and with Newcastle. And you know what? The more worrying thing is this is so obvious, but you will not find FIFA or UEFA or anyone that can get involved have the balls.
Well, they can't. That's the thing. They can't do anything about it. It's a bit like what they did in golf with Live Golf. They're in a way. Yes, I can understand. FIFA can't do it because FIFA don't monitor, and FIFA aren't in charge of regulating domestic football associations. Their job is to regulate international basis, and UEFA can't get involved because they're not in Europe. So they can be theoretically unregulated. There's no financial fair play in Saudi Arabia. They can do what the hell they like.
Yeah, it's coming to the point now where this is such an obvious thing. You've got to look at it. This is what football has become nowadays. Yeah. This is what football has become. I remember back in the day, and we're going back in the 80s. Well, let's use Liverpool, when Liverpool were dominant, and you didn't even have, you had 2 subs that you were allowed. If Liverpool and Tottenham came in, even if Tottenham offered more money, people would go to Liverpool because it would be to win trophies. I want to be part of Liverpool. Liverpool win all the time. It wouldn't be about the finances. It would be, I want to play for the prestigious Liverpool, the mighty Liverpool. It's now become, it's not the club, it's the money.
But the finances have become so extravagant. I read, and don't quote me on it, it's just what I read, that Ruben Neves is going to be being paid 10 times what he was at Wolves. 10 times. And let's just, for argument's sake, he was on 50 grand a week. Big up the Carpado, mate.
Look at it. It's a Tottenham Tour takeover.
It is. TOT is taking over.
Just like the first one. We're just going to have Danny appear out of nowhere shortly. Yeah. He just appears, ready. But my theory on this, and this is where I said, when you're getting paid 10 times, I get it on a footballing standpoint, but I get it on a financial basis. 10 times. And as I said, let's, for argument's sake, he was getting paid 50 grand a week. For argument's sake. Might be more, maybe less. Being paid £500,000 a week. That's just that. That's and when you mentioned about people would pick Liverpool over Tottenham even if Tottenham offered them more money. But the scale wasn't on that level. It may have been a couple £100 here and there back in the day. Maybe even less than that. But now we're talking about life-changing money, and not just life-changing for him, life-changing for his generations. So his children will be covered, wouldn't have to work for the rest of their lives and stuff. And that's where I think we're at the moment. Ben, I'd like to get your thoughts on it about all the sort of Saudi Arabia stuff that's going on. I want to know your thoughts on it, mate.
I mean, it's good for them. If they've got the money and want to spend it on players, spend the money. As long as the product is good and people enjoy the product, it is what it is. We can't talk about this from a moral standpoint because none of us are squeaky clean, are we? The owners in our case are not squeaky clean. So if they try and do some good footballing stuff, then so be it at this rate. I'm not the biggest fan of players like Neves going there, but if they want to make the league better, they need a better quality of player. And players like Ruben Neves and N'Golo Kanté, they're putting the money where the mouth is. They want to build a footballing league. The only thing that doesn't sit well with me is the fact that the top 4 teams in the league are all owned by the same guy, which is the owners of Newcastle.
But the thing is,
maybe they'll sell them up. Maybe they'll sell them off to make it more competitive. But it's just, for me, it's just, you cannot just say, "Oh, we don't have a league," and suddenly we've got the best league. It doesn't work. You've got to build the league slowly. We've been doing it for 100 years now. That is what happened with the Chinese league. It's what happened with other leagues that tried to get a bit too big for their boots. The quality wasn't there, and they explode. So maybe it's not sustainable. But
it's not. But this isn't about sustainability, by the way. This is about one thing. This is about getting the World Cup in Saudi Arabia. That's all it's about. Once it's done, all these players would have retired, and then the league will go back to what it was. It is literally a giant PR stunt to get a footballing league. What they want realistically is they want TV rights in Europe. So they want the likes of, let's just say, Sky Sports, for argument's sake, to buy the rights. Get
someone like beIN Sports, because I think beIN Sports are based in Qatar, right?
They're French owned as well, part of French owned as well. But my point being is, it's not about beIN Sport. They want the likes of Sky Sports to be buying the rights of the Saudi Arabian league.
They want to make a legitimate football league.
Yeah, they do, but they're doing it at a click of a finger.
If it's legitimate, so be it. More football is good.
It's not long term though. As you mentioned, it's not about sustainability. This is nothing about sustainability. This isn't about having a long term
strategy for the football.
This is just a football league that is with a massive mode of talent over there until they've got the World Cup.
Yeah,
and
they're going to get a World Cup at some point anyway. I mean, if it's a good tournament and they do it safely, then it's fine.
Of course,
if they do it safely and things are respected and businesses are respected, and they can make. Again, I like sustainability. So if they can make it sustainable and it can improve people's lives, then so be it. We want to improve people's lives here.
I mean, it's so Spursy, by the way, that all these players are going over there and not one of our players is linked over. Why can't Davinson Sanchez be linked to a Saudi Arabian club? And
well,
then they go along.
If they've got ties with Chelsea, do you really think they're going to say, "Oh, do you know what? Go help Tottenham out"?
Maybe. I mean, they're not just buying them. Obviously, they're buying players. But my point is, I know what you're saying. It's like, why can't the likes of Davinson Sanchez get an offer from him? Why Højbjerg is the sort of one I wouldn't be shocked that gets offered a big deal over there. Imagine we got offered a crazy amount of money for him to go over there. I'd happily take it. I would take anything for these sort of players. If we got a chunk of money and they got offered a load of money so we can get them out and we can get some money from them. But that's the thing is I feel like it's going to keep going, by the way. This is going to snowball. And you're seeing the snowball effect happening. Is just
what you're talking about, Jack. Sorry, Jack. You know what you're talking about. I remember when I used to play Championship Manager when I first started playing. Yeah. I'd always be Tottenham, but then I'd create a fake player as Man U or whoever had the most money and buy all my crap players for like 10, 15, 20 million and then resign as Man U and quit the game and I'd have all their money in the bank. This is basically what Chelsea are doing. It's like, okay, we've got a connection with the Saudi Arabian team. All these players that we've got to clear the books. You've got to remember how wild they went last season. Great. They've got to clear the decks. And what better way to clear the decks than to have a club come in and say, right, listen, all those players you want to get rid of that have worked out. Listen, Koulibaly is one of them, who I thought when he came in was going to be one of the best defenders in the league with what he is capable of, but it was obviously anything but. Now all of a sudden he's worth, like you said, 5-10 times the wage and a transfer fee at whatever age he is. Yeah, it's so blatant.
Of course, exactly, it is blatant. But listen, I don't think I can't see any Chelsea fans complaining. They're basically selling dead wood for a load of money. Yeah, load of dead wood. You've got the likes of Mason Mount going to Man United. You look to the likes of Kai Havertz going to Arsenal. You're looking at local actual rivals of Chelsea in position-based rivalry as well, not just like locational based, helping Chelsea. I said and I thought about this long and hard yesterday about Kai Havertz. I said, is Arsenal buying Kai Havertz a sensible move? Because I think there's better players out there. And what they're doing is they're assisting a rival that needs to balance the books. Otherwise, they are going to get in trouble. It just didn't make any sense. I'm still trying to work out Arsenal's reasoning for getting Kai Havertz in.
It's mental, isn't it? Because there is a player that does suit their team that's going to Chelsea in Caicedo. Caicedo would be an amazing player for Arsenal in their system with some of the players. He'd be far better than Xhaka. He'd be better than Partey over a long-term period, I think. And he's going to Chelsea and they're buying players Chelsea don't want. So I don't understand it because Havertz, for me, is a better Dele. No one knows his position and he scores important goals sometimes. I think Havertz is just Dele, but better.
Really?
Yeah. No,
I don't think Kai Havertz is that amazing. I haven't. There's nothing I've seen of Kai Havertz at Chelsea to go. He's a top player. He's one of those. I always say he's a jack of all trades, master of none, and you don't really need that though. At least with Dele Alli, there was a period with Dele Alli that you didn't know.
Period, it was awesome. But again, Havertz scores goals in an important game. He might ghost, but he'll turn up in a Champions League final and score an important goal.
I mean, he hasn't scored many goals. He scored one important goal.
What an important goal to score, though, eh?
Yeah,
he scored a goal in the Champions League final.
I think just because there's no reason why he wouldn't be a success at Arsenal. Just because he's had a shit time at Chelsea, where Chelsea haven't played with a striker, he's not a striker. Look what they've done with Arteta. This is the thing which Arteta, we're in here. Will he be a good transfer? Is it a waste of money? Whether it is or it isn't, Mikel Arteta has said that's the type of player I need. Big up, Phil. And they're going to try and move heaven and earth to get him. That's what people are failing to miss. We're all here thinking, oh my God, what's going on? Is it going to be a good transfer? Is it not? Don't particularly care. I think he will do a lot better at Arsenal than he's done at Chelsea. Yeah. The point of the matter is,
played for a Chelsea team in utter disaster, though.
Exactly. But the thing is, again, Ben, as I was saying, whether we thought Jesus or Zinchenko were worth the money, What did Arsenal do? That's who you want? Okay, that's who we're going to go and get. And they brought him in. And when they brought them in, they led Man City to a huge title challenge. And that's where you got to get with this. Forget how good the player is or how bad the player is. Forget if you think he'll be a success or not. The manager wants him. The manager's going to get him. And this is a club, remember, who haven't had Champions League money, who haven't had events and things going on like we have. But somehow, some way, the club are investing money and listening to football people. So whether like I said, to wrap this part up of what I'm saying, whether we think this is a stupid deal or a fantastic deal is neither here nor there. The fact is the manager wants him and the manager's going to get him.
Yeah. No, agreed. Can't argue with that one at all. I've started some stuff that we can have another little chinwag about. Did any of you guys see Jordan Pickford linked to Man United?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on that? Because it was a player that's been heavily linked to come to Tottenham. It looks like Tottenham are going to commit with the David Raya situation, which we still haven't heard anything more about. Come on, get this done. It should have been done ages ago.
I think Pickford gets a lot of bad press. I actually quite like Pickford. When he plays for England, he's really good. When he plays for Everton, who are a disaster, he's terrible because he's got a terrible defence in front of him.
He's right for England.
Amazingly, they've still got a better defence than Tottenham, but still, I think Pickford could do really well at Man United because he's got good centre-backs in front of him. He's got Casemiro in front of him. Pickford might be really good at Man United. His distribution quality, he might be really good. We'll have to see. But I'm not totally worried. I like Pickford. I like his leadership capabilities as well. He's always barking at his defence, which is something Tottenham need. But we'll see if he's well. But it could, again, it's another point. If Ten Hag wants Jordan Pickford instead of David Raya, he's getting him.
Yeah. No, I agree. Brian, what are your thoughts, mate? Do you think we dodged a bullet like Rudy says? Or do you think that we probably should have got him? Because I'm on the fence.
I'm with you, Patch. I'm kind of on the fence. Would I rather pick Raya or Pickford? I'd rather Raya.
Yeah,
Pickford, I kind of agree with what Ben's saying, but I also know this guy is absolutely has a ricket in him, like Lloris does. The one thing that I will say Pickford has above a lot of goalkeepers is distribution, which is absolutely second to none.
Probably why Ten Hag wants him.
Is for his footwork and is a bit like some of the long kicks he does. He gets assists during the season for his incredible distribution. He is outstanding at that, and he can have a game where he's just simply unstoppable. But then he can have a game like you look at that Liverpool one where it hit the bar and with Van Dijk's balloon shot, and then Origi is there. I would rather Raya. I wouldn't have been one to get him in, Jordan Pickford at Tottenham. But if he'd come, I'd have been like, do you know what? He's here. Let's deal with it. Yeah. But I am a much bigger Raya fan. But I can understand why Man U will. And do you know what? He'll be more than 40 million. And guess what? Man U will pay it.
Of course they will. Man U do business properly. That's the difference. We don't. The fact that we're still here talking, the fact that David Raya is not a Tottenham player is rather concerning. And I think it will get done. And I had this conversation. I've done shows all week. I did all last week. We did shows, and I can't remember which show it was, but we spoke about this. I said, "Does anyone else get the sense when we're doing transfers that we just get to a stage where I don't care anymore? Like I used to, when before when a signing comes out of nowhere, you go, wow, I'm excited. Regardless if David Raya comes or doesn't go, I'm already now at the stage where I'm going, I mean, I just want it done now. Like, I'm not going to get excited now. But, like, sometimes you just want a signing to go, boom, done. Wow, now I'm getting excited. We don't really do that anymore. We've never done that. The last one that did it for me was Basuma, because Basuma seemed to come out of absolutely nowhere, and it was done in a space of 3 or 4 days. We need to be doing that with David Raya. We need to just be getting those deals done.
No-brainers. And there are 3 which we should have already wrapped up by now. One of them is David Raya, one of them is James Maddison, and the other one's Alex Scott. Those are 3 deals that should be like, right, in in, all improve the team, not too much money, and we can start getting rid of some of the deadwood.
Agreed.
So I'll say another thing on top of this as well. 2 words: Fabio Paratici. Listen, if we're big enough to slate him for all his wrongdoings that he did and the disrepute, we have to give him credit for certain things. And we moved quicker than we have done in any transfer window last summer because we had this £150 million and it's all going to be different. But these deals came through very, very quickly. Perisic, Forster and Bissouma came through very, very quickly. And there's a reason behind it. And it's Fabio Paratici. If you look at it, the one deal that took ages, Jed Spence. Who's behind that one? Or Richarlison. And as we found out, who's behind it? Like you said, I mean, I've been seeing stuff today that Maddison is now the priority. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I thought Raya was the priority. And you were going through it.
Priority.
And Ben will know something I'm about to say, and I'm about to bring it up for the whole summer. I said it all last summer. I said it all last January. Defenders. We need defenders.
We're crying for this.
Don't get me wrong, the goalkeeper is completely needed. We know that is but I believe Tottenham should be working in a way. Obviously, if Maddison is available and we can get it done, you get it done. But do you know what George Graham used to say? That I always used to make sure my defence was good and sorted to my happiness, and then I built the rest of the team up because the defence to him, as we all know, was vital. And George Graham was bang on the money. And right now, for the last couple of seasons, maybe even more, since Toby since that partnership was dissolved, we've needed to re-gut this defence and find a winning partnership. And we've done mix and match. So for me, we've got to sort the defence out. Listen, I understand Alex Scott, I understand Maddison, but how you could say James Maddison is now the priority, it's just absurd to me.
Yeah, it is. It's not even. Yeah, he's not even third or fourth priority in my opinion. I think goalkeeper, 2 defenders is the top 3. And
add to that as well, Perchy, that this guy James Maddison apparently wants to move to London.
Yeah.
And has been relegated. So it's like, right, it's quite open that it's Tottenham are the only ones in London that are going for him. He wants to move to London.
Easy. So
it's like that deal is kind of, you're halfway there. What he's asking for is there. So yes, he may be a priority. So if he's a priority, the battle is there. Just get the fee arranged, whatever it may be, over how many years, whatever. But you need to start looking at defenders. Where are we now? June the 19th. The players are due back in 11 days. 11 days.
And if David Raya is not over that line in 11 days, I'm going to be switching. And there will be a rants video on this channel, 100% if it doesn't. Because I've said all along,
strengthen your fingers.
The fingers will be getting. I'll be getting the old weights on them to warm them up. But genuinely, because my theory on this is, I've said all along, I have no issues in negotiations and stuff. I actually, do you know what? I even take a lot of respect in certain aspects of it. But my big however is with the David Raya one. I've said all along, he needs to be here on day 1 of pre-season.
Yeah, absolutely.
He has to walk in with all the other players on day 1. Because there's no point having a player like David Raya, especially your goalkeeper, We need to understand that this man is going to be in on day 1 because he's the start. He's the linchpin. You start with your goalkeeper and work forward. If he's not in on day 1, I'm going to go apoplectic. And I'm being genuine because I've said all along, I said, I've got no issues with things taking time because things happen and I get it. The way we operate, I understand it. I've taken an understanding of the way we operate. But if for example, the only reason we're negotiating so hard on it is because we're trying to save £5 million, I will go freaking mental. Because who cares? And I hate that as a fan base, and it's not just us, by the way, it is football in itself. Everyone's become accountants. It's not your money. It's not your money. Stop worrying about 2 or 3 million quid here and there. It's not your money. The goalkeeper David Raya could be the most important thing for us for the next maybe 5 to 10 years for all we know. He might be the goalkeeper that's here for a decade. Probably not actually because he's 27 or something. So probably near 5 years. Yeah. But you get my theory though.
Yeah.
Your goalkeeper's normally the one. You don't normally go and bring in new goalkeepers every couple of years.
With being 27, he's going to be a goalkeeper for 6 years as well.
Exactly.
Minimum.
That's my
Minimum.
And that for me is the point of it, though. You don't really, unless it goes horribly wrong, which you could use Chelsea as an example. It did because they got in Kepa, then they got in Mendy because they couldn't find the right one. But if you look at Hugo Lloris, however much he's just fallen now off the cliff, he's been here for 10 years because we got a goalkeeper and went, do you know what? He's the one that stays with us. And that's how it really, the goalkeeper's normally the longest person at the club, normally, unless obviously a bigger football club goes in and gets him. I mean, which happens. And for example, if Real Madrid went in for David Raya next season and he was amazing, of course he's going to go there. And I'm not delusional to say that he's just going to stay with us. But you get my point in what I'm saying. You don't normally see a goalkeeper every 2 years.
I mean, Brian and I have said on many occasions, probably the worst thing that this ownership has done in terms of is turn Tottenham fans into profit and loss. We're football fans. I don't care about profit loss accounts. I don't care about as much as I'm interested in them from a business standpoint. I care all about, are the football team playing well? And so big, we spend the money. We spend the highest prices in the world for football. The highest. The least they can do is pay proper money for proper keepers. Because otherwise, next time I go and buy something from Tottenham, which is going to be in a very, very long time, because me and Brian have both boycotted buying stuff from the shop, I'm going to offer you want £80 for that Tottenham shirt? I'm going to give you 35 and Leandro Demau. I don't know where I'm going to find Leandro Demau, but I'm going to find him. There you go. There he is.
Yeah.
But stop lowballing. We don't lowball as fans. They say, agreed. This is how much your season ticket costs. All right, that's how much you pay. They've got to start doing it. And Raya is a quality, but we need to buy him before someone else gets him, before a Newcastle decides.
That's the problem, isn't it? Because maybe not necessarily Newcastle, but Man United.
I just bought them as an example because they're going to be better keeper at some point as well.
But I think Pope's a very good keeper. But I know what you said.
They can improve.
Man United is the one, isn't it? Though Man United, they're not sure about
Real Madrid or an Arsenal. Eventually, they're going to need a keeper. Chelsea might need a keeper. Aston Villa might need a keeper. If their keeper Martinez goes somewhere, they're going to need a keeper.
Do you know as well? Look at it again. When you mention keepers, I'm happy you mentioned that down the road. When they bought Ramsdale, this guy come off back-to-back relegations. From Sheffield United, then with Bournemouth, Arsenal. All right, we're not talking the 40 million, but this is a guy that's had 2 relegations back-to-back. And they're like, no, do you know what? With good coaching and whatever, this guy could be the number one. Could be the number one because he's such a young keeper for years and years, a decade at least.
Yeah.
And Arsenal, he's made a couple of relegations. He's a young goalkeeper that's going to develop. But I don't think any one of us would have thought Ramsdale would have turned out to be the keeper he is. But again, Arsenal, the board, were like, we don't know about football. We've got the football.
I'm wrong.
The manager wants this guy in. We'll bring him in, and it's his decision. He'll live or die by it. Yeah. And my God, he's been sensational for Arsenal.
He's been top for Arsenal. I mean, anyone that says otherwise is deluded. He's a quality keeper. He's everything Arsenal needed. He's a leader. He's got good distribution. He's a quality keeper. He's a very good keeper.
Well, do you know what the problem is? And I agree. I actually agree with everything you guys are saying. The point is they've backed him and gone, do you know what? This is the guy you want. And that is massive. Just before I carry on, guys, just saying massive shout out to you guys in the chat. Please hit the subscribe. Can we get to 50? Can we get to 50 likes? That'd be amazing. And if you're new to it, like this young man here, new to the channel, please subscribe. If you're new to the channel, please. It means the world and it helps me push out. And we're so close to 1,000. It's touching distance. So please subscribe. Daily content, daily streams every day at midday, every day at midday UK time, we will be streaming. And on the weekends, we go a bit earlier, but we go a bit longer. It's all part of the fun. Quick question from Mr. Cousins has come in. How many barrels of cider? How many barrels of cider for a Tottenham shirt? I mean, I'm not being funny. They're expensive, aren't they, shirts? And you think about it, when you've got kids that want them and stuff, it's hard, isn't it? And it's just become such a cash cow, football is. And when we talk about football now, football became, we all grew up watching it, blah, blah, and stuff, and all this lot in different eras we all grew up in. But it's now come to a stage where it's so expensive just to enjoy football. The shirts are £100 each. Watching it on Sky Sports and BT Sports is nearly £100 a month. And then you've also got to buy Amazon Prime. Season tickets are over £1,000.
Yeah.
The food and the beers in the stadiums are expensive. Nothing in football is cheap. Nothing is reasonable anymore.
In London, if you go up north to clubs like Man United, the beer price is a good price. If you go to the northern clubs, it's fairly priced. It's only really the London clubs where the price is crazy. I mean, that's because of distribution and. But
even still, you're right. You are right in comparison to other areas of the UK. But even still, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And just on this, Jose, if you can subscribe and get me to monetization, you can then send me. You can support with super chats, whatever you like, my friend. Much love. Thank you so much. But please subscribe. We need to get to that magic 1K, which we are 167 away. So can we make it 166? Will be lovely. Thank you so much. But yeah, no, I agree. The football though at the moment is just so expensive, and when we see and this is the things that we see at the moment with football is that we're watching dross and we're paying extortionate prices. You're playing, and the thing is you look at that. I always do. People do the comparisons. Oh, Man City that, and all that. And I go, okay, but they're in a different part of it. But they've got relative compared to us reasonable prices. But nothing changes if people keep buying it. So if it's supply and demand, and this is what I've always said about it. I get people's emotional attachments to it, and I've always said about this is supply and demand. If we're going to keep selling season tickets and people are buying them, why wouldn't they put them up? I mean, they were clever this year. They didn't put the season tickets up. They put the membership prices up. It was such a smart move. That was a way to get money out of people, weren't it? Let's not put the season ticket, which is what everyone talks about, but the membership went up 10%. Big up Rob Andrews. Here's thoughts on Chris Cowlin saying he doesn't understand why we aren't bidding for Bastoni again. If I speak, I might get in big trouble. All I
only looking at Tottenham and say, I don't want to play with Eric Dyer. I've almost won the Champions League here.
If I speak, I might get in trouble, as Jose Mourinho once said. All I'll say is get your head out the clouds. We're not going for Bastonis. Bastoni is just signed a new contract to Inter Milan.
Yeah.
He didn't join us when he had 2 years left on his contract. And he wanted to stay Inter Milan, his boyhood club.
Yeah.
I
also believe that
Sava's in here. Sava's right. If I speak, I know you'll say it, Sava. We say it all the time together, mate. But you're right.
Do you know what? I do have to say something here because it'd be rude of me not to. So the Manchester United protest, which Ben came to, the one we had in the pouring rain, when I was there from 3 o'clock in the afternoon before the 8 o'clock kickoff, getting everything set up with everyone.
Yeah.
Did my bit for TalkSport, but down the road, opposite where the media entrance is, Michael Bridge was there with Chris Cowlin. So I went down there, not to get an interview, but I've never actually met or had a conversation with Chris Cowlin before in my life, ever. Not even a word on social media. In fact, that's a lie. When I first started Toronto Spurs, I asked if he'd come on and do like a welcome, but he said he doesn't do Facebook, so fair play. But I had a good chat with him. As the first time I've met him face to face and spoke for 20 minutes with him, he's actually a very nice guy. But what you got to remember as well is Obviously, you got people like myself, Stel, Ben, you, Sava, and I could go Danny Kiriakou. I could go on with loads and loads of things. And we're very, very outspoken, and we're very, very direct with what we feel about this board and this ownership. But when I was talking with Chris, it's however you decide to take it. But what I've decided to do with this, like when the Last Word on Spurs boys, like when Lee McQueen and Crackers went on We Are Tottenham TV, I got a lot of people messaging me saying, why have We Are Tottenham on TV allowed Last Word on Spurs? And I was like, well, first of all, I'm not We Are Tottenham TV's booking agent. I don't make their decisions. They'll have on who they want. But what I've done is I've kind of adopted what I call the voice audition. And if you actually, when you see Chris Cowling or you see Last Word on Spurs, immediately you go, oh, they're Enoch in. They're Enoch in. Oh, no, why have you got that? But if you step back and forget who they are, like the voice, and just pretend you're only listening, not seeing, and you listen to what they're saying, a lot of them are mentioning stuff that is Levy out. They just won't come on like me and go like this, and there's always Levy out, or give me the microphone or a stream, and I'll go Levy out, and go on a tyrant or a rant or whatever. Chris Cowling does say things that, yes, it's amazing how he's always on the Sky Sports cameras, and he's always, listen, that's what Chris Cowling does, and that's whatever. But what I will say about Chris is I think the Bastoni link is ridiculous. That if he said that, mate, Bastoni's just got to a Champions League final. We're not in Europe.
Yeah.
Bastoni only would have come because of Conte. Conte's not there. He wanted to see a direction that we're going in. All right, we've got Ange for 4 years. No one knows what direction we're going in if it'll last for 4 years. So that's a bit stupid. But what I will say is with Chris Cowling, like I said, I had this one interaction with him, spoke to him for about 20 minutes. And when we were speaking, it opened my eyes up a bit to listen to. You've got to listen to what he's saying. You've got to listen to what he's saying. He does say things about the board. Yes, it's not as direct as I say it. Yes, it's not as direct as Ben Sava. Like I said, all these names. But he does say stuff. He just goes about it in a different manner. And this is the thing. That's what we've got to look at. I've started to look at things that way. I will always be as direct as they come. The people that I stand with Levy out will always be direct as they come. We've got Phil P in here, who's a top boy. And he turns up at the protest, Ben's at the protest, and we all know what we say, what we feel, and we'll stick by our convictions and stand by them. But when it's I thoroughly enjoyed my interaction with him, and I think he's a nice guy. But the Bastoni link is a bit wild.
I'm going to quash these Bastoni rumours, and I believe he's actually just invested in certain businesses in Milan, so he's not leaving Milan due to Milan City rules. One of the things that I always laughed at was Tottenham fans got well over their heads about a certain Lautaro Martinez coming to Tottenham.
Yeah,
I know for a fact, because I know the people that supply their coffee, because I own part of the business that supplies his restaurant in Milan, which is 7 grams lot zero. I'm very much part of that business, and they supply the coffee there. And Milan City rules say if you are a foreign investor, you have to live in that city in Italy to be able to invest in it. And Lautaro's restaurant's fantastic. It's called Caraje, and you can get really good Argentinian food there. And the coffee's pretty good as well, because the woman that trained me over 10 years ago is the person that trains all their staff. So, yeah, Lautaro and Bastoni are not coming to Tottenham, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to break the news to you. Forget about a football side of things. We're fucking awful. But, yeah, they're not coming just because they are invested in Milan as well, and they won't. And they're doing well.
I just think, and Brian very, very eloquently said what you're saying, but I think the point where I think Sava, if you're still in here, will agree with me, because we both have the same similar sort of thought processes. It's what's said on, and I get it. Like people like Chris will go on Sky Sports, and but the question's got to be: do they say what they feel on Sky Sports, or are they watering down what they say on Sky Sports because of where they're with the audience that they're communicating with? And I think this is where I said is as long as is it because he's getting paid by Sky Sports to say things? I'm listen, this is just not me saying what's true or not. I'm just, is it just, so for me, I wouldn't take a payday to then, if that means then I can't voice my personal opinion.
Agree.
And if that's the case, that's when I would be like, that's when I have a bit of an issue, because I'm sitting there going, how can your word be trusted if your word is dressed up in a way onto a mainstream platform? Listen, I've got no issues, by the way. If he wants to go and get paid out by Sky Sports, I have no issues, because listen, it's your money. Do your thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Do your thing. I'm not one of these who will sit there and tell people they can and can't do something, but then you've got to then judge it. If then 1 minute, do you know what I mean? When you're not on telly, you're saying one thing, but then on telly, you're not going to say it. And I get it, but then can you adhere to what your thoughts on that is? That's the main part of what I'm trying to make.
I'll give you a couple of examples here. Like, if you go back, and I did it on the day, and you go watch his interview from the Manchester United pre-match when we were protesting just down the road from him, and listen to what he's saying. Don't go, it's Chris Cowling, this is that. And listen to what he is saying. He will say things that would be more of a Levy out thing, but he just puts it more eloquently. He puts it not as direct, whatever. But then the things that doesn't help him is then when he posts videos about the F1 go-kart track. Yeah. And certain things. Those things make... So this is the thing. I mean, it's Chris's channel, and Chris is free to do whatever he wants to do. Yeah. And that's the, like you said, I don't think you'll find any of us that posted the Formula One go track car, and if we did, it would have been to absolutely condemn it and speak absolutely ridiculously. I mean, one of the comments on that video he put up had me in stitches. He goes, "Wow, I didn't know our F1 team had a football pitch," and I started pissing myself at that comment that someone put on his video. But this is the thing. Whereas I will, or our channel and other channels like Tottenham Way, like yourself, like Football Heritage, will go direct, Levy out, this is Levy, this is Levy, this is Levy, this is Levy. He goes down it a different, which is totally down to him. But like I said, people have to, like I said, please go back. I'm not sticking up for Chris. Yeah. I'm not like Chris Callum.
I'm one of these people. I'd happily have him on my channel and sit and talk about stuff. I'm not one of the. I've always said, and the whole reason we setting up this was to have no echo chambers. Yeah. That was one of my key things is there's no echo chambers on my channel. I'd love to have someone like Chris on my channel and sit there and break down his mentality and his thought process, because I'm very pro ENIC out. I want change at this football club. I've made my voice known about this very easily. And he yes, and as you say, he goes about it a different way. But as I said, I've always said I'm not one of these people that will go, nah, I'd never have him on my channel. I'll happily have him on my channel, because I'd love to talk about it with other people and their thought process on it. And it's not because he's got massive a load of subscribers, but genuinely, like, it's in all seriousness though, like I'm being like, I'm not one of these. Listen, each to their own. Do your thing. I'm not one of these that stop people doing their thing, because listen, we've all it's his full-time job, isn't it?
Got to do what's good for you.
But the thing is, you got to remember, this is his full-time job. That's my thought process.
It's his full-time job.
But my theory has always got to be is then if you're saying two different things, one to the mainstream media and then one thing to sort of other people, you've then got to take a lot of what he says as a pinch of salt, because you go, can you believe everything he's saying? Because you just said on Sky Sports, mate, that you think that top four is the aim. If Postecoglou may lose his job if he doesn't get top four. Sorry, what? I mean, we're in the right way of mind thinking that we're ever going to get top four this season. If we get there, it's an absolute miracle if we get into the Champions League next season. Yeah. So, and that for me, that's the part.
We'll only get into the Champions League if we have a really good season and finish fifth. It's the only way.
Well,
but I don't see us finishing fifth.
It's fifth, isn't it? Yes, but that's what I mean. If we get lucky and the likes of Arsenal struggle being in Champions League whilst in the Premier League, we might get lucky there. But for me, I don't think we're anywhere near that. We might
all depending on the person you are. I mean, how many jobs I've been removed from because I didn't like the coffee we were serving. I worked at a company called Dolcezza in Bonhill Street years and years ago, and and we got taken over because my business partner Max wanted to move back to Italy because he hated living in London because it's bloody expensive, the food's crap, and you can't get a drink anywhere. So he moved back to Italy. So he sold to another Italian business. First thing they did was they changed the coffee. So they changed the coffee, which is my business partner's now, 7 grams, to a company called Cafe Bruno in Bari, which was a quarter of the price because they wanted to charge the same amount of money for the coffee, but have a quarter of the. And I said to the owners of the new business, this coffee's terrible.
Yeah.
And they told me, you've got to explain this coffee like it's the best coffee in the world. I was like, I cannot polish a turd. This coffee's terrible. Like you could see it when I made a coffee. If you've ever seen an espresso, it's a bit of it's black and a bit of it's at the top is the cream. But this coffee was all cream and a tiny bit of coffee. And it's like, I can't sell that to a customer for the same price if it's a quarter of the month. I can't do it. So they got rid of me.
Yeah.
They made my life impossible.
Yeah.
I had people that did, I'm not a yes man. If I don't think a product quality, I won't say it's a quality product. But
of course,
that will get me into a lot more trouble than it will make me friends.
It's exactly no. I completely get your perspective on it. I just want to let guys in the chat know we're going to go for another 8 more minutes for the daily hour that we're going to do. Another 8 more minutes. So if you've got any questions, whack them in the chat, guys. That will be amazing. And if you haven't, please like and please. We've got 50 likes. That's amazing, guys. Thank you so much. I've just checked. And please subscribe if you haven't. We've got 60 of you in here. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. The road to 1K is on. We are so close. I can feel the brass ring, and we will be doing a 1,000. We will be doing a 1,000 subscriber celebrational stream when we get there. So these guys will be always invited. They're always invited. We'll get a load of you guys on. We'll have a little chat about me hitting the 1K and then what is happening next, because there's some cool, juicy stuff happening definitely in the next few weeks, because you may already know there might be a 24-hour live stream coming very, very soon, which I am so excited to do because I want to raise loads of money. And that's charity is for me the key one. We have got a question though from Total Osper. Hope you're doing well, mate. You need to, when you guys post, you have to let me know which one of you it is, by the way, because there's a few of you, and I never know which one of you guys it is. So big up to you guys. What do you guys think of Max Kilman? Great question, because Max Kilman has been linked with us today. He's been linked quite well with us now today. Ben, you've already said quality, so I'm assuming you want him in. I think he'll be a great addition for us. For me,
I mean, he blows Dyer as Sanchez. I mean, it's not saying that. He blows them out there. He would actually be a very good partner for Romero because he's got all the attributes. He's calm. He's good on the ball. He's a quality player. He'd be a great foil for Romero, which means we won't get him because we don't do anything intelligent in this football club.
Brian, what are your thoughts, Brian?
So I think he'd be a good addition based on. Listen, I can't say that I watched a load of Wolverhampton Wanderers this season, to be honest. But I have constantly heard this name mentioned, and not just by streamers or YouTube channels. I've heard this spoken about in quite in depth. And for me, again, we're looking for defenders. This is a defender. Yeah. And this is what I want to see our attention to detail on. Like I said, my favourite will be Nketiah, but he signed a contract. He's a pipe dream. He is a complete pipe dream. My second favourite is Mark Guehi from Palace. But I think this one, but you look at it, Wolves are in such a bad situation. Well, they've just made 47 million.
They need money, don't they? Yeah.
So now, do they need money as much? Have we missed the boat on this one? Maybe could have gone in and got him when again it's the Grealish thing all over again. When we could have gone for him when things were bad and we could have got that sorted, but we didn't and we missed the boat. Have we missed the boat this time? Does his value now skyrocket because they've got money in from Neves? But no, he's a defender that I'd be I would welcome into the club.
Yeah. Here's a question for you guys. If we sign 3 defenders in this window and we sign Max Kilman, let's call it 30 million quid. I'm just throwing it about. I'm not exactly sure. Tosin Adebayo, let's say 20 million to 25. Let's just say that. And then someone like a Jonathan Tah on a free. Would you happy if we spent about 50, 60 million quid on those 3 players and they came in and it meant that Dyer, Sanchez, and Davis, for argument's sake, are the 3 that go? Would you take those? Because I like the looks of Tar. I think he's a unit. He looks like an absolute unit. But then I do worry, is he the reason why? Is there a reason why they released him? I always worry, like, I don't know the ins and outs of it. Is there a reason why they released the likes of Tar?
I would be totally happy just if the leadership council were all got rid of bar Son and Kane. I hate the idea of a leadership council. I don't understand why we've got one. And the guys in our leadership council, which are Dyer, Højbjerg, Davis, are not good enough to be leaders in this dressing room. And if I can get those lot out of the door, I'm bloody happy. I want a new leadership council at this without having a leadership council. I just
want a fresh start.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you said. I just want a fresh start at Tottenham. I want us to go into the season going, do you know what? It's going to be tough this season, but it's just, there's a bit of a freshness at the club. I feel like we haven't had a real freshness at the club since the sort of early Pochettino, when he started changing and got rid of Soldado, Chadley's, Townsend, and then we ended up having, listen, even the likes of when Ryan Mason came in immediately, when he brought in through Harry Winks at the beginning. Listen, I know it's a bit different now, but you get my point.
He started with players like Kevin Wimmer, who weren't the greatest footballers, but gave a new outlook. And that did okay for a while. But then, of course, we found out that Vertonghen was better. And
Agreed.
It's not saying a lot.
But... No, I agree. That's the thing. Yeah, if Tar's injured, I don't know enough about him. I've just seen him. He looks like an absolute unit.
Wimmer was pre-Pochettino. Wimmer was there under...
Yeah, Wimmer was pre-Pochettino.
Yeah, but Wimmer played very well for Pochettino. He played very well when Vertonghen got his injury when we beat Man U 3-0 and he took over. He was fantastic with Toby for that part. But do you know what? Like you said, you mentioned those 3 players. I just want to see that defense reinforced. Yeah, the 3 you mentioned, they will add quality to the team. That's all I ask. If we spent, mate, I've said this before. If we just got David Raya in and spent the rest of the money on this defense, and didn't even get Maddison, I will be one. Yes, I'm going to be disappointed that we didn't get any creativity, but who knows what Kulusevski might play off the strikers, whatever. Yeah. The defence is the one that needs absolute open heart surgery. You don't concede 63 goals in the Premier League.
No, it's not good enough.
It needs to be that defence. If 3 quality defenders come in and a keeper, I will be ecstatic. I will be absolutely.
Let's say, if we conceded 30 goals instead of 60, we would be going for the title because of the amount of goals we score.
Of course, because we score enough goals. No, you're absolutely bang on it. And you know, when you say about quality defenders, do you know what? It's not even top quality we need. We just need actual defenders. None of this ball playing crap. I want a defender that will sit there and defend.
I had this on Shawnee's show last night. I had this argument with the chat. And I said, you've got to have ball players. You've got to have this.
I want
defenders. They've got to
you know what? You need those finessey players but what you need is the base right. It's what we do. I feel like we do things the wrong way around. We need to get the defending right and then go, do you know what? Now we can start tweaking it. Going, do you know what? We can put in a ball player next to this one because this guy is trusted.
But I'll use another example.
Putting the likes of Romero and Longley together, you go, one's a good, Longley's a good ball player, and Romero's as crazy and rash as always. It's just a terrible combination.
Jan Vertonghen was not a good defender because he could hit a 90-yard diagonal ball. Jan Vertonghen was a good defender because he was a good defender. First and foremost, he was a quality defender. He had leadership opportunities and he did things simply. He was brilliant. Yeah. Toby Alderweireld was not a good player because he scored a header once in a while. He was a good defender because he could defend. And that's what we need. Simple. Go back to basics. Simple things. Be able to defend. Stay on your feet. when you're chasing a game, you don't poleaxe someone and then get sent off. Defenders need to be able to defend.
That's terrible. Yeah,
really
we averaged 11 losses last season, went to 14. Not good enough. Guys, on that note, we're going to quickly wrap up. I just want to say thank you guys for coming on. Always good for coming on for the hour. I do love you guys coming on. It's always welcome. You're welcome on tomorrow. We'll do exactly the same again tomorrow. Last words. When do we think? Last words on David Raya. When do we think he's coming, or if he is?
Beginning of next week, if he does.
Yeah. I'm going to be slightly more hopeful than Ben and say it needs to be done, and hopefully will be done this week. It needs to be done. I mean, hopefully, who knows? If it's done on Thursday, it'd be a good birthday present for me. That'd be wonderful to see. It needs to be done this week. If we're led to believe that this is all going to be different and things are going to change and we're starting a new page and yada yada yada, these signings need to be done and through the door. These are essential. I don't even put them as priority. They're essential. They're vital. They're all these other big words that you want to use. They are instrumental. And he is a huge part of what we need to do. Cheers, Phil, brother. So for me, this deal needs to be wrapped up this week.
Absolutely bang on. Am I right in saying you guys have both of you have got a video coming out today?
Yeah, so we were going to do it yesterday, 2 videos, but we're actually going to be doing them today. We're going to be recording them. The first one is really, really important. Mental health is something that Tottenham on Tour take very, very seriously. We've done a lot of streams. I did them on Tottenham Away as well, and we've done fundraisers for it. Well, there's a video that I've been dying to do, and I needed to do it with Ben, and Kuva is going to join us as well. We'll basically be talking. I've never shied away from my demons or my mental health history. I've always opened up on the hope of helping people. Well, we're recording one today, which will be about a lot of mental health aspects. We're discussing certain trolls, or not certain trolls, the impact those have. But most importantly, I will be discussing the Bob situation.
Yep.
Ben and I are someone that has been heavily affected by what that person has done to this community and how it's affected both of us and Kuva in certain ways. Now, we are going to be dealing with this situation because it's a video I said I put out, but people just be knowing this isn't going to be dragging up and bringing up all the crap that has been brought up. And I say crap, and I mean it's not crap, but all the stuff that has been brought up. This is discussing how it's the impact that people haven't been too aware of how it's affected Ben, how it's affected myself, who people know I moved over from Canada for 3 months and extended stays because I wanted to protect him, be there for Kim and his kids and the mother of his kids. And obviously there's Kim in this as well.
Yeah.
So we are going to be discussing this from the mental health point and the emotional impact it's had. So we're not going to be diving into what's happened. But it's a video that needs to come out. And then after that, Ben and I, who did our Saturday weekly review, will be talking Tottenham again. And Tottenham on Tour will be back. The mental health impact will explain why Tottenham on Tour have had a little break and needed to just put their foot on the brakes. So that's going to be recorded at 3 p.m. today, me, Ben and Kuva, or around 3-ish. I've already sent a message to Brian Ireland to get this out as quickly as possible, but right now it's 8 o'clock in the morning in Toronto, so he probably hasn't woken up and seen it. But that video will be coming out today at some point. And hopefully the review will come out this evening.
And I think we'll all make sure you put it on a premiere so we can all be in there and watch it together. We'll all watch it as a collection. That'll be brilliant. No, well, I can't speak highly of you guys. Well done for that. That's brilliant. And the last thing I want to say, guys, our mate Shawnee is streaming right now. So we're going to finish up here. I want every single one of you in here to go over to Sean's channel and say, the Perch Army is on the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to have his stream up and I want to see Perch Army is here from every single one of you. I'm going to put the link in here. So all of you head over there. That is Sean's stream right now.
It's Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. Don't forget.
And also,
are you on at 2 p.m.?
2 p.m.
2 p.m. We're going over to the coffee company. Of course, we always got to love some coffee at 2 with this beautiful man. Guys, Perch Army on Sean's stream right now. I want to see it. I'm going to have the stream up and I'm going to watch you all go over there. I'm going to leave you on that. Much love, guys. Thank you both for coming on. Peace out. And as I'll do it with you, go on.
And as always, Levy out.